We have Lightsworn Pumpkin for you today. We're leaping into action with RB again, and we have Enneacraft. You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us content. This deck actually did very, very well at its event, and they were very, very happy. They sent this over to me. They're like, Robbie, I just did well with Lightsworn Pumpkin. I had to do a double take on that because I was like, Lightsworn Pumpkin? I mean, it makes sense, right? Because effectively, you know, you get to provide yourself with like a little bit of milling, I guess. Because I can't even call this Lightsworn because, like, you have a pretty decent small Lightsworn package in here. It's more like a zombie good stuff that actually kind of allows you to, you know, play the game. And Curse of the Ancient Turtle here actually coming in. I didn't think we'd actually see this card being good. But, I mean, banish a zombie from your hand or graveyard. Send a zombie from your deck to the graveyard. When your zombie monster is destroyed by battle, banish them from the graveyard, special summon a zombie with 2,000 less from the deck. Yeah, there is a little bit of merit to this. So a couple things to know here. I mean, obviously, Grass Looks Greener is going to be a very, very stupid card in this deck because it does provide you with some decent consistency, which is fine. We've also got, you know, Call of the Haunted's maximized at 3 because, you know, this card's going to be extremely good. But also, I mean, the package itself, obviously, the Stare of the Snake here is good. You have the one army of the Haunted, and of course, you are playing one of the Great Mammoth, but you're not really going too crazy in on this package. It's more of a base good zombie support working into the Call of the Forgottens to allow you the chance to play a game. I'll see frickin' Pilgrim Reaper actually doing its job. You know, someday if Pilgrim Reaper becomes a broken card, I think I would be extremely happy because this has been one of my favorite cards in the game. It's just massively underexplored for what it is. And also, we have Naturia Rose Whip in the side deck. I see somebody else got the memo that deploying a Naturia Rose Whip against your opponent just kind of wins you some free matchups. So, gosh darn it, I'll take it. Next up here, we have probably some interesting RB action. Every week, if you've noticed, by the way, RB has been slamming through here and actually doing really, really cool interactions. This list is playing more of the Sky Striker stuff, actually doing the Cyanos into the Rose, which is, I think, fine. Obviously, you know, this gives you another Sky Striker card that you can kind of pivot into, depending on how you initially open up. It's kind of where I am with this, right? It's like, Cyanos is very good because it gives you access to, like, the Sky Striker line, gives you the extra body as well. You know, you've got the machine already established, you know, you just have to kind of pivot into another little piece is actually a pretty decent choice here for you to do you think. I also see going with the triple heat wave. This is actually a pretty safe tech choice. I feel like being able to ride the heat wave in as a going first card, because RB very much needs to make a board, but it's also a very, very good deck at consistently OTKing the opponent. And I actually think that that's kind of where your synergy lies with this deck, is the fact that you can kind of come out of nowhere here and actually, you know, kind of win the game because of this. You know, if it ends up hurting your opponent more than it hurts you, then that's absolutely fine. That's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about, right? It's about the opportunity to win. Obviously, maximizing on one of each of the parts is fine. We have the World Legacy Crown in here, off of good old Galtea Eye. I think everything that is present in this list is fine. It's just not every RB deck is going to be the same. You know, your combination of what little machines you're going to play are going to shape up a little bit differently. I think the most thing that most of these builds agree on is going to be the Orcus Mech Knight in a small capacity. Next up, oh my god, it's back. Somebody got the memo that they're allowed to play Enneacraft right now. And because Enneacraft is kind of a very, very angry deck in the meta, you get the chance to deploy Dimensional Fissure against the opponent and start to banish away their graveyard, which I guarantee you they won a lot of free games because of this card. Enneacraft Field being able to be deployed, you see this on top of it. I'm sorry, but you're not going to have a good time for this. I do also see that we are playing Spell Card Soul Exchange in here. This is interesting because you actually have inherent monsters that you can actually just tribute the opponent's stuff for, and then just deploy the whale as a normal summon. I didn't say it was good, but gosh darn it, it is an option that you could actually do to work. Or, you know, you can get the Vanity's Fiend established. There's some very funny things that you can do with this deck. Also, if your opponent actually plays into the sphere mode, like, you know, this is your key normal summon. This is going to be the piece that's going to do its job. In terms of 43 cards, I don't think this is bad. You've got triple Fua doing its job to net you cards. You have the 2 Sullen Lunas to be able to kind of control the opponent and initially do your thing. And, of course, yield triple Destructed Daruma Cannon in the side deck. This was a card I really did like in the main deck in a lot of the list, and I can kind of understand why you'd be bouncing around on this in the side deck is, you know, a little bit well. But outside of that, congratulations, you have an Enneacraft list that actually did well. You know, I know we have more support coming for this, but this deck has been pretty decent at being a rogue contender in the meta and actually, you know, winning its events. Next up is Kewl Tunes. Now, we got to take a step back here, and we got to realize in the current TCG, we do not have the cards that explodes this deck in its consistency. We will probably get those cards at a later date, but for now, what we actually have had has been a pretty decent track record for some of these lists. This list ended up doing decently well out of its event, you know, finishing 10th place at a regional. Yeah, it stinks that you missed out on top 8, but, like, I'm not going to condemn the performance, because, like, you actually did well. We also do get to see, oh, look, Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill here. This is one of the best rotating hand traps I think we've seen into our meta right now, because Veiler is a bonkers card, and guess what? You got 3 of them in the main deck. So we take a step back here and we go, all right, so what's the next potential best card? Well, how about an effect Veiler that can burn the opponent? And then you got everybody clapping their hands going, oh, this is really good. So this is just kind of how our meta has evolved at the times. Ghost Bell has also become one of the better active hand traps that we can actually use. Now, also, Fallen and Virtuous Syndrome is also a little bit of a problem in the TCG. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, keeping my 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, after the 3rd Fallen and Virtuous, you know, tuck on back, you have the 4th interaction. Seeing a single one of these cards gives you 3 potential pops. I mean, that's just what Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about, right? Like, this card just gets to see so much play. And, of course, the other real reason why this deck is a menace is you have access to Naturia Rosewhip. Floodgating your opponent out of playing the game has been one of Kewl Tune's best interactions that they can have. But they only bring this in games 2 and 3 because, you know, it's just a dead card in some of these other situations that you can find yourself in. So, not too bad. And our last list here is going to be Magnet Warriors. Magnet Warriors have really been kind of pulling it together. You know, who needs Block Dragon, right? I mean, I would love the consistency upgrades that we could definitely provide to this deck, but that's not what we're getting right now. You know, we kind of got to work our way up and actually, you know, make some of this deck work out. We are playing Triple Duo Tyrion, though. Being able to pitch this and, you know, go search for the magnet bonding is pretty much why we love this. But also, 1, 2, 3 Incredible Ecclesia in my deck? Oh, with the Fallen? Oh, God. Yeah, so guess what, everybody? Somebody got the memo here that Fallen of White can be splashed with triple Incredible Ecclesia. Also, Incredible Ecclesia is splash summon if you're going second. That's something that I don't think a lot of people kind of think about here, is, you know, this being able to pivot into the Fallen and Virtuous, which, by the way, still remains one of the best solid interactions that we can have within Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, just to be able to use and do its thing. Also, double Quackimera Guardian. This is hilarious, and I actually really appreciate this. Quackimera Guardian actually doing his job here is really, really nice. So, I like this list. I like that we have options, and especially, you know, for the people that did want to play Magnet Warriors, you had to wait so long for this deck to kind of turn itself on, but I think that's fine. It's just, we got to take a step back and realize, you know, we don't have the best consistency pieces for this, and that can be fine. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Patrons! Thank you! Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.